Greetings, Butterfly Tribe. Today I would like to discuss the feeling of anxiousness or anxiety. In scripture in Philippians 4, starting at verse 4, it states, "Rejoice in Yahuah always. Again, I say rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Master is near. Do not worry at all, but in every matter, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to the Most High. And the peace of the Most High, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Messiah YAHUSHA." May Yahuah add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his set-apart word. In this season of life, I made a vow to myself that I would deal with each feeling or emotion that I felt as they came, so that I would not suppress anything, so that I could heal properly and move forward with my life. And why I want to discuss anxiety is because the first time I had an anxiety attack was between the months of January and February 2012. And the things that took place in my life around that time that led to that anxiety attack are kind of similar to the things that I've just come out of in this past season of my life. The difference is, at that time, I didn't resolve anything. So I didn't deal with what was going on. So the first time I had an anxiety attack, I was at my daughter's basketball game. And I was sitting in a gym full of people. I was sitting alone. People all around me, but I wasn't there with anyone that I knew. And I was watching my daughter's game. And all of a sudden, I got this overwhelming feeling of heaviness. And it felt like the walls were closing in on me. And I could not breathe. And I simply sat there quietly trying to figure out what was going on with me. Well, in nursing, I knew what was going on with me, but I could not figure out why all of a sudden. And what was happening was I was overwhelmed. Life had overwhelmed me. Well, why am I talking about this today? Because while I was sitting through my work day, I felt that same feeling coming over me, a feeling of anxiousness, like I was overwhelmed. And leading up to today, a lot of things came up that, decisions that I had to make concerning moving forward. So similarly, and I started to feel anxious about making these decisions, but I remembered to just pray. So as I sat there with this overwhelming feeling of heaviness and like everything was closing in on me again, I just started to pray, and I took some deep breaths, and then I remembered later the scripture, "Be anxious about nothing, but take everything to the Most High in prayer." And it says, "The peace of Yahuah He will give you a peace that surpasses understanding. And it shall guard your hearts and minds through Messiah YAHUSHA." And so that's literally what's been getting me through this season, is just trusting that the Most High would never leave me nor forsake me, and that the Messiah would hold my hand and walk me through all of these major decisions that I'm now having to make about my life on my own for the first time in my adult life. Because there was always someone there that helped me make those decisions for the past almost 30 years of my life. And so sometimes it feels kind of overwhelming. And so I just want to grasp what's going on in my life and feel confident in knowing that the Most High is giving me that peace that surpasses all understanding. And I don't have to be anxious about these things, that I can just pray and trust Him to guide me and to lead me. But that feeling was a feeling of unrest. It was like a heaviness, and I felt sick to my stomach, almost like I wanted to vomit. My heart was racing, and then my breathing increased. And I felt this, and it just was a feeling that was very uncomfortable until I started to pray. And I just sat there and took slow, deep breaths, telling myself that it was okay, that the Most High would never leave me alone. And although it feels like I'm alone making these decisions, that He has given me wisdom, and He has given me the understanding to make these decisions with Him as my guide, because I've asked Him to order my steps according to His word, to go before me in every area of my life, so that as I'm walking through, that I could feel His peace. Because I've said many times before that His peace is my passport, and if I do not feel His peace, then I don't want to go there. And so again, be anxious about nothing, but in everything, give it in prayer and supplication to the Almighty One. And the peace of the Almighty One, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Messiah YAHUSHA. So if you're experiencing that feeling of anxiety in your life, trust the word. Be anxious about nothing, and just give it to Him in prayer. Be blessed.